Hi there, Craig here, Product Manager at Broker Engine. This video, I'm going to demonstrate our workflow engine and workflow builder. And one of the key things, and it's really for those of you that are really process driven and want to sort of get your process smick right down to the last detail. This video is to do with sub workflows or child workflows. And what I'll do is I'm just going to quickly walk you through what that means. So as a high level, our workflow builder is very flexible. So let's say I want a workflow to run at settlement or maybe at formal approval might be a better one for this purpose of this video. And so what I do is I go, look, I'm going to call the workflow formal approval. I'm going to trigger this workflow when the deal enters into stage formal approval. Again, you can do whatever stage you like and whatever workflow you like. The issue is, though, that I want to have this workflow that probably sends an email to the client and say, hey, it's all been approved. Great. So I can do that here. Formal approval received. And then I want to do maybe a task for the team to do a bit of a checklist, so I can just sort of add in a task. I'm just going to choose one here from my list, but you can always add in a brand new task, if you wish, and assign it to whoever you want to assign that to. Once that task is marked complete, I then want to send an email, but I want to send a different email if it's a refinance or a purchase. I want the email to be slightly different. So I have two options. Option one is I can just do one generic email and it'll create that email as a draft, and then I can do a bit of a create as a draft, sort of create my email template as a draft, and I'll then be able to manually send that. And before I send it, I can edit that email and add and delete the part that doesn't apply. So that'll be option one. If it's a refinance, I'll delete the part to do with purchase. If it's a purchase, I'll delete the part to do with refinance. But for many of you and for myself who loves to get really down to the detail and have the process ironed right out to the nth degree, I'm not happy with that. So what I would do is I would actually build in a sub workflow. And what a sub workflow does is, I'm just going to jump over here. I'm going to create a sub workflow called sub workflow, formal refinance. Let's just go with that for now. And what I'll do is sub workflow. And what I want to do is this sub workflow will only trigger when the deal type is a refinance. I'm going to click that there, and then I'm going to put my email in here like so. So put my email in here, and that's going to be the extent of this sub workflow, because this sub workflow's only goal is to send this email. Once I save that, I'll publish that. I'll jump back now to my main workflow here. And what I'm now going to do is I'm now going to add in that sub workflow. So I'm going to come here, I'm going to go sub workflow. I'm going to choose from my list of sub workflows. And in this case, I called the sub workflow formal refinance. So what's going to happen here is the workflow, when the deal moves into stage formal approval, it's going to send an email, it's going to create a task, it's then going to trigger the sub workflow. Now this sub workflow is going to send the email only if the deal is actually a refinance. If it isn't, it will not send that email. My next step, of course, now is to build another sub workflow. And this one's going to be called sub workflow, formal purchase, for example. And what I'll do here again is I'm going to change it to be a sub workflow. And I'm going to only trigger this workflow when the deal type is a purchase. I could also do probably land and build as well. For this one, construction probably not. And then I add in my email. And I can just select from an existing email template, or I can create a brand new email template. Noting I've got all my mail merge fields over here. I can create whatever email template I like. In this case, I'm just going to select one from my existing list that talks about a purchase. And this workflow is now done as well. What I do is I jump back to the main workflow. I'm going to trigger a sub workflow here. And with any luck, here it is here, purchase. So what's going to happen here is the workflow, when the deal moves into the relevant stage, it's going to go send the initial email. It's going to create it as a draft, so you can edit it before you send it if you wish. It's then going to create a task for the team to do a checklist to make sure everything's great. And then it's going to trigger two sub workflows, which will trigger those emails. But depending on the deal, only one of those will actually trigger. If the deal is a purchase, it'll trigger this email here. The deal is a refinance, it triggers that email there. There is plenty more you can do with sub workflows. You can set delays. The workflow is very powerful around delays, things like wait until 2 days before finance is due or settlement due, or 2 days before the pre-approval is going to expire, etc., etc. One for the nerds, but I hope it's been helpful. Craig here. Anything of interest there, jump onto a demo, brokerengine.com.au/demo.